Hello, my name is Navigator, and this is going to be the fourth video in my series going over different groups, roleplay groups, milsim groups from across the Fallout 76 community. Today I am joined by a gentleman named Unknown, and he is going to talk about his group along with some of his friends as well. So, Unknown, if you wouldn't mind, what is the name of your group?
The remnants of the U.S. Army.
The Remnants of the U.S. Army. So the first question I'm probably going to ask you is, when did you start this group?
Around 5 years ago during beta, maybe October, like around October 28th when it first launched, so
Oh shit!
2018, I believe.
So you guys have been
So,
around for a long, long time. I mean,
yeah.
that's fucking impressive. Holy shit, that's awesome. So I mean, on top of that, what, I can ask you, why did you start the group? Was it, I mean, was it like an interest in like the U.S. Army Remnants thing, or was it more so like it started as just a group of like people coming together and then it evolved into that? How did it start?
It was a group of friends, but then it eventually evolved to something a lot bigger than it is now, obviously, since we're just now coming back, but yeah,
Fair enough.
just started with a few buddies.
Gotcha. And how many members would you guys say you have today?
As of right now, it's 35.
35. Awesome. That's pretty impressive, my man. And I mean, you got two people joining you today, so it looks like, at least for the most part, you guys are active. I mean, at least, I mean, you got some people on. So, I'm trying to think. So, I guess the biggest question I can ask you, and just try to answer the best you can, but do you have any, like, backstory, any lore, any history about the U.S. Army Remnants, anything like that that you would want to talk about?
Um, the lore behind the group is mainly the group started from Camp McClintock, the Army training grounds up in middle of Appalachia, right under 76. So mainly just the trainees and the soldiers already stationed there. That's what it evolved from, at least.
Hell yeah. And, you know, that's honestly like a pretty good base to kind of jump off of. Like, there's already, I mean, Camp McClintock is like a whole, like, kind of like army training ground. They got like a bunch of, what could I say there? They got a bunch of facilities there that you could use to, I mean, go along with your group. And I think that's pretty awesome. And, like, obviously, you guys, well, the next question I was going to ask you is about your uniforms. And it seems like this game kind of provides, like, the perfect uniform for your group. So what is this? Is it
Yeah.
the army fatigues and the army helmet that I'm seeing? Is that what you have for regulation, or do like different ranks change different outfits?
Different ranks and different MOSs change the uniform.
Gotcha.
Mostly, yes. Um, we also utilize the military fatigues with a combat armor chest piece for recruits, just to show them that they're not fully in the group yet. But besides that, it's just army fatigues and army helmets, like you see.
Fair enough. That's pretty sweet, my man. Hell yeah. So on top of that, like speaking of players and stuff, what is like the ranking setup? And actually, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, you mentioned an MOS. What does that mean?
An MOS is a military occupational specialty, like 11 Bravo, which is the infantry, or along the lines like mechanized infantry, any of that. So,
Fair enough. That's pretty cool. It seems like you're pretty knowledgeable about that too. What is like the ranking system that you have for the group? Like, if I were to join today, what would I start off as?
you would go in as a recruit, go through your BCT, and then you would go in as an E1, preferably a private second class, because no, that'd be an E2. My apologies. Um, from there on forth, you would go to a private first class, and then specialist, a corporal, which is an E4 as well, but it's just a specialist in CO duties, and sergeant, staff sergeant, sergeant first class, master sergeant, and my rank, sergeant major. So,
Fuck yeah, hell yeah. So I'm thinking BCT probably what means basic combat training.
yes, sir.
Gotcha. And I assume that you're carrying that out at Camp McClintock, right? Well,
That
for
is
the most part.
correct. For the most part, yes, that's correct. We also have other outdoor training grounds that we also provide for live fire exercises. So
Hell yeah. Would that be ones that are like already out there in the wasteland, or are these ones that you're creating yourself through like camps or workshops?
We use them via camps. We make sure our camps are lore friendly. Usually, may base them off the outposts that's already in the game, such as Outpost Alpha in the Cranberry Bog that you can see. So,
Oh yeah, okay. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think it's really cool. Like, it's as opposed to like brotherhood groups or enclave groups. I feel like they have like Fort Atlas, they have the White Springs, but it's not like you're gonna find like a Brotherhood of Steel like outpost really like a solid location. There are ones out there, and you're definitely not gonna find like an enclave outpost. But being in the army, you kind of have all these pre-war ruined locations that you can use really well. Like what you said, Site Alpha. What was it? The one in the Cranberry
it
Bog?
would be Outpost Alpha, and
Outpost
then
Alpha.
there's the Thorn.
The Thorn, yeah,
So,
exactly. That's pretty awesome, though. You have plenty of things to use for this, and I think that's super fascinating. I'm trying to think. There was one other thing I was going to ask you. Oh, what I want to. So you talked about your rank. You're the leader of this group, so I'm wondering like what made you decide to like start this, like, or maybe when you started, did you have other people along with you, anything like that, or was it just kind of like, hey, I'm going to do this?
I originally started by myself, but then a few buddies did join and help me. But as of right now, they did stop playing the game around a year and a half ago, so it's just mainly been me since the founding crew. So,
Fair enough. So we're talking about, I mean, like doing camps and workshops and different like training, all that. What aside from training, are there any other kind of like activities you do together? And when I ask this, it's kind of double-sided. Like, are there? Is it more so? Well, actually, sorry. Do you guys do stuff together more like just kind of casual, like doing events together, stuff like that, doing missions, as opposed to actually doing like activities involving like the group element? Does that make sense at all?
yes, we do stuff. We do both. It's just mostly we do group activities such as patrols, PvP warfare. If you've ever been into that, it's part of the milsim community. It
Yeah,
happens a
I've seen
lot.
that. Yeah.
Um, yeah. We tend to do events when new events come out just to help our low levels, such as Viper and Cloudy here. So,
Fuck yeah. Yeah, because what?
besides,
They're level 16, 17, right? Something
perfect.
like that. Yeah. Sorry, if you were going to say something else, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're perfectly fine, sir.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so we got patrols. I used to be in a brotherhood group. I've only ever been in one group, but patrols were definitely my favorite thing, and I think that that's something that a lot of groups do, and it is really really cool, honestly. I've been in talks with another group about doing like a video going over what a patrol is because like it's a patrol is like a universal word in like this community, like this like group's community, but like if you were to talk to a casual 76 player, they'd have like no idea what that meant. So I think that's awesome you guys do patrols. That's hella cool. And do you guys plan those out ahead of time?
Yes, we plan them usually 2 days before, just so we can make sure everybody has a chance to tag along and make sure it's out pretty finely, just so we don't mess up anything that anybody has planned. So,
Awesome, dude. That's very considerate. I feel like a lot of groups do that, but it seems like it's a very good thing that you guys do that. That's very inclusive, I should say. So the last question I'm going to ask you before I go into like some of these other ones, maybe, is just going to be, what is like your favorite part about the group? Something that really means the most to you about the Remnants.
my favorite part of the group is just people getting along and working together because in this community that's very rare, especially with some BOS groups that I've ran into. They don't always get along perfectly, but as long as people are getting along perfectly, we're doing pretty good. So that's
Yeah,
probably got to be my favorite thing about the group.
I'm in agreement with you about that, most definitely. So I'm trying to think of just going over what you talked about. My first question is about the PvP stuff. So you mentioned like doing PvP battles and stuff, and I know that that stuff is frequent, like in groups and between groups. But what I'm curious to know is, have you guys ever had like any actual beef with anybody, like a fight where it was like I actually really want to kill this person, as opposed to kind of just being like a fun thing? Have you guys ever experienced anything like that at all? And I'm not looking to name
Yeah,
names. I'm more just interested in the fact. Sorry.
you're perfectly fine. Yes, we have. We've been in multiple Milsim wars. When it comes to it, it's usually group starting crap with us, trying to steal members, poach, any of that. If you know the term for poaching, it's
Is
taking
that
members without consent of the
gotcha?
leader. So,
Fair enough. And in your opinion, does that happen frequently in this world, like, or in this community?
in the community, yes, because there's a lot of smaller groups out there, not just BOS, but Enclave as well, trying to get members so they go to other groups trying to steal their members and offering them rewards for joining them. So,
Fair enough. Um, so this is just kind of off the top of my head, but we're at my friend Stretch's base. This base is really in no relation to this group at all. It's kind of just a nice meeting place. But one of the questions I want to ask you, and some people might be curious about it, not so much why, but just basically, are you guys an Enclave affiliated army group or not? I know the answer to this, but I would just appreciate you going into it a little bit if you could.
no, we don't recognize the Enclave at all as a group because most of us are enlisted personnel in the group. So, in all reality, we would have no clue what the Enclave is at this time. So,
Fair enough.
in lore.
Yeah, and that makes total sense. So yeah, I just want to make sure in case anybody was like, "Oh, U.S. Army Enclave," I don't want them to get confused about that. All right. So Cloudy, one of the other members in the group, I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about it. Nothing really too crazy, and if you were inclined to answer, I'd appreciate that. The first question that I have is just
Mm.
what rank are you, Cloudy, in the group?
I am a staff sergeant.
You are a staff sergeant. What does this position like come with any responsibilities, anything like that? Do you get any? I guess the word I could use is like, do you get any upgrades to your armory, like what you get to wear, anything like that?
I believe so. Um, some people with higher ranks should be getting power armor at some point, which of course I can't actually wear at this moment, but you know that's
That's fair.
something else. Yeah, I believe you will be allowed to use close to different. You have to stick with the same uniform, of course, but you know, there's benefits to it. Yeah, I'm not sure really what to say.
No, that's totally fine.
Um,
That's totally fine if you can't think of anything. But I was going to ask you a couple more questions, and these will probably be a little bit easier to answer. The
yeah,
first one is just when did you join the group? How long ago did you join? How long you been in it for?
about 3 to 4 months, maybe. How long ago was it? Um, yeah, about 4 months.
About 4 months. Awesome. That's crazy. So it seems like you've been sticking around this for a while, and that's really awesome. I mean, how can I say this?
I
Definitely.
did have a few
Or
breaks
sorry.
off, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. And I was gonna say like it's very rare that groups like this either a stay together like as a group or like b just stay like intact as a group. And it's crazy that I mean unknown. You're saying you've been doing this since beta, kind of on. Even if it's on and off, even if you have members on and off, it's still really nice to see that you guys are still for the most part active. So actually, not for the most part, you guys are active. Cloudy, the last question I have for you is just what is your favorite part about the group? What interests you the most about this?
My favorite part. Well, of course, all the we do quite a lot of like fun operations. It's relatively frequent as well. Like whenever we are doing stuff, it's not like you have, you know, weeks between each operation or anything. No, it's relatively frequent. Um, I like training. Training was fun back when we did it. Um,
Hell yeah.
yeah, yeah, and the people here are quite good. Yeah, I like most of the people here. They're relatively cool, you know.
Hell yeah. Good to know. And from what I've gotten, like a lot of the people that are in this kind of community, they're pretty cool for the most part. So that is good to hear. So the next thing I want to talk about is Viper over here. Viper, we had some issues with just his audio, but I have a little written thing of his responses to those questions. So Viper is a E6 staff sergeant. and he has been in the group since June of 2021. So he's been in here for a while. I mean, by my standards, I say he's a veteran, but that might not be might not be accurate. Some of the other things he said was he was new to the game and he wanted to join a group as opposed to like possibly being killed as a low level, something like that. So that's his reasoning behind joining the group. And his favorite part about it is very similar to what Cloudy said, and that's just doing activities together, doing operations, and just having a good time. So thanks, Viper, for answering that. Thanks, Cloudy, for answering as well. And yeah, I'm trying to think of just anything else to say. Have you guys been a part of any other groups like this? Like, Stay, any of you guys? Have you ever been a part of any groups like this before? Or is this the only one?
I was in one once, but that was like a very long time ago.
Do you mind me asking? Just never been in a group.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Okay.
No, I just wonder jeez, I'm sorry. What was that group? If you don't mind revealing it. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, asking you, Cloudy. I'm sorry.
I think it was actually very similar to this. It was a type of US-esque, I guess. It's some US group that followed kind of similar organization and everything. It was very unorganized though back then. Holy crap! But then again, that was a really long time ago. That was over a year ago, I believe.
Jesus. Yeah, my last time I was in a group was over a year ago too, so I know that. I'm trying to think. So, Unknown, have you ever been in any groups, anything like that before? Do you have any history with this?
I've joined servers. Oh, I didn't mean to stand up. My apologies.
Oh, you're all good.
I've joined servers and looked at other group servers, participated in a little bit of their stuff, but besides that, no. I've been in charge of this group since the beginning, so I haven't had really any time to join another group.
Fair enough. It seems like you got your hands full, especially being around since beta. Well, man, Cloudy, Unknown, I really don't have any more questions for you, but I really thank you guys for joining me today. I actually found these guys today on the LFG posts, and they were ready to do this today. So I'm glad that I got to know you guys, got to spend some time with you, and find out about this. This is definitely one of the more interesting groups that I've come across. I did a U.S. Army group for my first video, so it's interesting to see another one out there. Not really, you guys aren't the same group, obviously, but it's interesting to see two groups, that are U.S. Army. That's really cool. And again, the other thing I want to say is I think it's fascinating that there's all these facilities in the game, like destroyed APCs, like the Thorn, Outpost Alpha. Those things are really great for your group. They're super cool locations that are lore friendly. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm rambling too much though. This last part, I just want to open up the floor kind of. If there's anything that you guys wanted to say, if you guys have any comments, this includes Strech and Mommy, if there's anything that you guys wanted to say. And just for the people watching, these are my friends Strech and Mommy over here. We're doing this video at Strech's base, so I figured I would have them tag along. Oh yeah, if anybody wants to say anything, go for it, and then if not, we can just wrap it up.
Shout out on the base is enough for me.
Fair enough. There we are. All right, guys. Well, Unknown, if you wouldn't mind just saying the name of your group one more time before we close, is that all right?
Yes, we are the Remnants of the U.S. Army.
The Remnants of the U.S. Army. Hell yeah. So I want to thank these guys for joining me today. It was definitely a really great time. I hope you guys had a good time too. And yeah, thanks again. So without further ado, my name is Navigator. Have a nice day. Take care.